Hello everyone, welcome to this live chat. My name is Sheila Mwanje. GESCI is an acronym for Global E-Schools and Communities Initiative. And GESCI was established in 2003 under the recommendations of the United Nations Information Communication Technology Task Force. And since then, GESCI has been working on various projects in ICT in education, youth development, and leadership. Just 2 years ago, we concluded a project on African leadership in ICT, which ran in 16 African countries. We've also had projects on digital creative skills for the youth. This one has been implemented in Kenya. And at the moment, we are working with the Pan-African University, the Institute of Water and Energy Sciences on various projects which are implemented in Algeria. We are also working with the World Bank on development of a total cost ownership tool for schools, for universities, to ensure they can monitor what is happening with all implementation of projects. And we are also working with the Ministries of Education in Sierra Leone to develop education management information systems. And to the project that informs our discussion today, the African Digital Schools Initiative, which is implemented in Kenya, Tanzania and Cote. And today I'm joined by an amazing gentleman, Stanley Kiguta, who's been able to create an automated hand sanitizer and water dispenser. I'm also joined by Christine Akello. Christine is a project coordinator for the ADSI Programme in Kiambu County in Kenya. And she'll be speaking in terms of how implementation has been, how training the teachers has been in Kiambu County as a whole, to bring us to this point where we have teachers who are able to create innovative projects that are going to help Kenya and the world at large in the education sector, in the health sector, as the world is battling the COVID-19 pandemic. So we'll just get on to you, Stanley. Please introduce yourself, Stanley.
I'm Stanley Njagua from Gachororo Secondary School, that is in Kiambu County, Kiambu Sub-County. Yeah.
Thank you. So we'd like you to tell us about your project. What really informed your decision to create an automated hand sanitizer, or let's say hand wash and water dispenser?
When you are cleaning your hands, you have to open the tap and close the tap. That means if you have the virus, then you open the tap, you will leave those viruses on the tap, then you clean your hands, then when putting off the tap or closing the tap, you just correct the virus back. So I saw it is good to come up with an automated one because there is nowhere you are touching those taps, and it will stop the spread of COVID-19 virus.
Interesting perspective. We have a sustainable development goal on clean water and sanitization, and I think at this point the main way of solving COVID-19 is turning out to be sanitization and hygiene. Your innovation is addressing this bit in a big way. Tell us how you got to assemble materials and develop it to the final product.
Okay, when coming up with this project, the first and the key thing, it is to write the code or the program that will run the machine. That's the key thing. Because assembling it will need some physics knowledge, because we have wires and the Arduino and the ultrasound sensor. That connection will need physics knowledge. But now, writing the code, that's the key thing. Because we must keep on testing whether that code can be able to run that project to the way you want it to be. Yeah.
And how long has it taken you to develop it? When did you start?
On my part, writing code is not a problem. So to develop that code, it can take me only some hours.
Great. What is your commercialization vision?
First, we can have to make more than those projects. Before we think of selling them, first to assist. Because now, in the situation we are, if it is helping, you can just frontier. If the government can provide the machine, and we can join hands with other youths and make so many of them and be able to put them, for example, in hospitals, in the street, where they can assist people to clean their hand and sanitize.
Great. Then now, I'd like to know about your skill of coding and your involvement in training through the ADSI project. Maybe you can just tell us when you joined the ADSI project and some of the benefits that you're able to identify with having gone through training in the African Digital Schools Initiative.
I think this year, January, because I joined Gachororo last year, term 3.
Okay.
So I have benefited a lot from the ads training because it's not a thing I have seen anywhere else. For example, I was in Muranga, that thing was not there. So this ads thing, it is helping the students at the school at large to digitalize. Because like my school, most of students nowadays, they are very interested to go to computer lab, to work with the computer. They want to know what's going on in the IT world or in the coding. Like coding, we had a project in coding and they are very much interested. They can be able to do it using Scratch and Minecraft. And they are very happy. Students and I myself, I have also benefited from that.
That's great. We are happy to hear such feedback because our aim is ensuring students are able to get the 21st century skills which are very much needed in the workspace and the job market, and also to just get innovative and be able to create employment in future when they are out of the schools. Then maybe you can just tell us what would be your recommendations to schools and governments with regards to ICT integration in education and innovation as a whole.
Nowadays, as you can see, most of the places, they are not using paperwork. So unless you train these kids, for example, the CBC, they start this coding in class 4. So imagine a high school student without such knowledge. He or she will be challenged by their kids who are very young. So I would advise the schools, even if they cannot start with so many machines, they can start with 2 or 3, where the student can be going, interact with the machine and enjoy. That's when the student, when they interact with computers and other machines, that's when they will come up with projects. Also to the government, what I can say, the government should be able to assist the schools. For example, the local schools, provide them with the machines, because nowadays teaching in ICT, like you started a digital library, I could see it in my school, and it's assisting for a lot. So the government can be able to assist, provide the machines to many schools, so that, for example, if almost all the schools in Kenya, they have those digital libraries, students will be studying with a lot of ease. Even if when the teacher is not there, they can be able to go to computer, get notes in various subjects, and read, answer questions, and that will be good of them.
That's good. We are hoping to achieve to the very end. In as much as the project is only in 80 schools in Kenya and in 4 counties, that is Kiambu, Taita Taveta, Narok and Nyamira, we are looking forward to having this scaled up into more counties and even all the counties in the country if possible. So apart from the automated hand sanitizer and water dispenser, what more? Is there something else you're working on?
Yes, I'm trying to work on, we have the automated sensor, the temperature one that is measuring the temperature of a body, because they are saying the rise of temperature is one sign that somebody who is suffering from COVID-19 may have. So you can see we have those, the medical thermometers they are using, you keep on pressing them. So if we come up with an automated one, it will just, for example, is put in the hospital, somewhere people pass. If somebody passes there, it can be able to sense the temperature of that person and then record it. So when those doctors or nurses or CEOs, they are inside there, they can be able to tell there's somebody who is coming whose temperatures are high.
All right, so that's good. I think we need more of those at the moment in Kenya and the world at large. So these are great innovations that I would really encourage you to go on and work further on them. As you mentioned, you're going to work further to enhance them to even work better. And now that brings me to Christine. Christine has been with all the teachers in Kiambu County training. She's an ICT and education expert and trainer of trainers, working with GESCI in the capacity of project coordinator. So Christine, would you just tell us how it's been on the implementation of the projects in Kiambu County and working with teachers, given Stanley Kiguta is just a new teacher and he's able to do all these things. So just take us through what the teachers do on a daily training basis in Kiambu County.
Okay, hi Sheila, hi Stanley, and thanks Sheila for this opportunity and also for Stanley for representing our teachers in Kiambu County. And just as Sheila has mentioned, being the project coordinator of African Digital Schools Initiative in Kiambu County, I can mention that Stanley has done us proud, because what Stanley is doing is actually what the project is geared towards. Having teachers who are able to come up with innovative practices that can address issues and challenges that are affecting our communities, not just in education, but the broader scope of it. So looking at where we are now, we have taken our teachers through a series of trainings. We started from technology literacy. We took teachers through project-based learning, where teachers were not just going to deliver pedagogy through lecture method and the traditional ways of delivering content, but they were able to come up with innovative projects with their students to help in teaching and learning. Now, in 2019, we took it a notch higher and introduced teachers being able to create their own content that they use in teaching in the classroom, which again they did very well, because at that point now they had the literacy skills, they were exposed to project-based learning, and now we expected them not just to be consumer of technology used in classroom, but also they were supposed to be innovators. So they were supposed to come up with innovative ways of how to teach and create content for that matter. Now this time, we introduced them to coding, because that's where the world is going to. And that's what you can see Stanley doing. So we wanted them to come up with projects, coded projects, which were to solve common community projects. So this COVID-19 state actually found us at the very, very right time, because in January we introduced teachers on how to code using Scratch and Arduino. So we started with that as the basics. So, and here you can hear Stanley talk about coding using Arduino to create an automated sensor, thanks to the training that we have, African Digital Schools training that we had with the teachers. And teachers were to come up with innovative projects that address community issues, and also how these were going to be, how they were going to take it forward. So they were supposed to be creative enough to tell us what this was going to address and how they wanted it to run. And just as this was going on and we were having our school visits, checking on the kind of projects that we were doing, then we realized that some of them were coming with even very interesting projects to curb the locusts that had infested the country at that particular time. And just as we were dealing with the locusts in our projects, then now came the coronavirus. And here, so we are at home, people are working at home, but we are very proud because our teachers are doing things. We had introduced them to solving problem. Okay? Now, our problem is here with us. You have been given the skill to address problems. So then Arduino comes in and he was able to come up with that hand sanitizer to address this particular issue. And I'm glad that he's introducing even the temperature gadget, because I believe that that is another way forward to address this particular pandemic. And I can assure you that with students, they look at these things from a very different angle. So if we expose them, then we are going to have so many solutions to even the myths that are running across, things that are causing a lot of fear. amongst us. So students are still able to come up with innovative projects to address our fears and anxieties before we get to maybe wiping the whole thing out and go back to our old normal. Yeah. So thank you, Sheila.
Thank you, Christine. That's very insightful, and that really gives an overview of what GESCI is doing in the 4 counties in Kenya and the 2 regions in Tanzania, as well as Cote d'Ivoire through the African Digital Schools Initiative. In Cote d'Ivoire, we are delivering a French equivalent of this very program as it is developed in Kenya. Stanley, thank you for getting this done. To get more information about GESCI, visit our website www.gesci.org.